Shalom.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's the Shabbat.
Shabbat. Hallelujah.
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 Let's give Abba Yahuwah a hand clap.
Hallelujah. You gotta move over.
Has he been good to you this week?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Did anybody go hungry this week?
No.
Oh.
Hallelujah.
Did he wake you up every day?
Yes.
Was his mercy new every day?
Hallelujah.
He is worthy.
Yes.
He is worthy of all of our praise. He is worthy.
Hallelujah.
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 We say Shabbat Shalom to those that are here today.
Shabbat
And we say
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to those who are online today, joining us. We want to shout out to Nicole in Wisconsin. We want to give a shout out to Yesenia and Yayla. Shabbat Shalom. Want to give a shout out to our sons
Yes. Shabbat Shalom.
in Pontiac. Hallelujah.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom, brothers.
Shabbat Shalom.
And
And we want to give a shout out to all of Yasher All, wherever they are.
Gabrielle, our daughter. Gabrielle, our
We
daughter.
want to give a shout out to Gabrielle. We want to give a shout out to Sandretta.
Shabbat Shalom, sisters.
And Sean. Grandson Sean.
And we want to give up a shout out to Sean. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi. Hallelujah.
Taste and see that Yah is good. He is awesome. He is perfect in all his ways.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hold on, Rabbi.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into prayer and ask Abba Yahuwah, make our petitions known to him. He's so good.
Hallelujah.
Abba Yahuwah, we come before you now, saying Tada for all that you have done, Tada for all that you are doing, even in this moment. Tada for all that you will do in our lives, in the life of this they call your assembly, and in the lives of all Yasharal, wherever they are scattered in this earth. You are so good to us that even though you cast us away, you have not forgotten us, nor forsaken us, nor abandoned us. Hallelujah. But on the contrary, you are waking your people up all over the world right now. Hallelujah. People are being awakened to your Ruach HaKodesh. People are returning to covenant. Hallelujah. People are walking in the way. Hallelujah. And there aren't words in my heart to express how I feel about that. You are awesome. Perfect in all your ways. We owe you all of our thanksgiving, adoration, worship, praise. We lift up your name, Yahuwah, and magnify your name. We exalt you, Yahuwah. And your Mashiach, Yahushua, who has bought us with a price. He has paid the price that we can never repay. And so we just come before you. We humble ourselves before you today in your presence, asking you to forgive us of our sins in thought, word, and deed. Give us a right ruach. Place a right ruach within us today. Hallelujah. That we walk in your way and be not just hearers of the word, but doers of the word. You are awesome in that way. We know that you hear and answer our prayers because we are walking in the way, because we lift up your magnificent name, because we
Hallelujah,
accept
Yahuwah. Hallelujah,
your
Yahuwah.
Yeshid, the
Ah,
Mashiach Yahusha for who he is.
Hallelujah, Yahuwah.
We are hallelujah you, Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
We are hallelujah Yahusha.
Yahuwah.
Khan.
Ah,
We say to die for the Ruach HaKodesh, Kadesh, who is in operation in this place
Tada,
today.
tada.
Yahuwah,
The
Yahuwah.
Ruach HaKodesh, who operates in us and through us.
Ah,
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahuwah.
Now we ask Abba for traveling mercy for those who are still on the highways and the byways
Khan.
that are traveling to Shabbat today. We ask for traveling mercy for them. We ask that you would be a hedge about them and a protection for them. We ask that you would send your messengers to encamp round and about their vehicles as they're on the road.
Ah,
And send your messengers, charge them to keep
Haya
them
Marie
safe from all
Komare
hurt, harm,
Mama
and
Sasamari
danger.
Maro Komare. Hallelujah.
We ask that they
Hallelujah.
would have your mercy, that they could make it from their destination, from their point of origin to their destination and back again without accident, incident, or interaction with law enforcement. We ask that you would keep them safe in the hollow of your hand. We ask that you would barak them today with a word of knowledge from your Torah. We ask that you would give them a word of wisdom.
yes, hallelujah.
We ask that the gifts would be magnified in the assemblies today. That your gifts and callings which you have given us, that you would make them evident. We ask that your Ruach HaKodesh move freely among all the assemblies today. Have your way, Abba Yahuwah. Have your way. Have your way with your Ruach HaKodesh. Have your way in us. Have your way. Hallelujah. Barak Yahuwah, the Barak one. Barak is Yahuwah. Barak one for all eternity. Barak Yahuwah, our Eloah, King of the universe, who has chosen us from all peoples and given to us your Torah. Barak Yahuwah, giver of the Torah. Shema O Yasharal, Yahuwah thy Eloah is Echad. Barak be the name of Yahuwah forever and ever. Hallelujah. You are awesome, Abba. You are awesome. Good God. For who you are. We seek your face. We seek to worship you today in the Ruach HaKodesh and in Torah, or in spirit and in truth. Your Torah is truth. And your Ruach HaKodesh is spirit. The set apart spirit which operates in and through us. Hallelujah. We can do all things through Hamashiach who strengthens us. Hamashiach Yahusha.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Barak are you. Yahuwah our Eloah, King of the universe, who has made us Kodesh with your mitzvah and has instructed us to hear the call of the shofar.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Yahuwah, Yahuwah.
Haya Marie Komare Mama Sasamari. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Yahuwah.
As we're standing, facing the holy city, where Yahuwah placed his name, I'd like you to repeat after me. The commandments he has given. Yahuwah, we will have no other Elohim before your face.
Yahuwah, we will have no other Elohim before your face.
We will not make for ourselves a carved image,
We will not make for ourselves a carved image,
any likeness of anything that is in the Shamayim above,
any likeness of anything that is in Shamayim above,
or that is in the Eretz beneath,
or that is in the Eretz beneath,
or that is in the water under the earth.
or that is in the water under the earth.
We will not bow down to them nor serve them.
We will not bow down to them nor serve them.
We will not take the name of Yahuwah our Eloah in vain.
We will not take the name of Yahuwah our Eloah in vain.
We will remember the Shabbat to keep it Kodesh.
We will remember the Shabbat to keep it Kodesh.
We will honor our fathers and our mothers.
We will honor our fathers and our mothers.
We will not murder.
We will not murder.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not steal.
We will not steal.
We will not bear false witness against our neighbor.
We will not bear false witness against our neighbor.
We will not covet our neighbor's house.
We will not covet our neighbor's house.
We will not covet our neighbor's spouse,
We will not covet our neighbor's spouse,
nor his male servant,
nor his male servant,
nor his female servant,
nor his female servant,
nor his ox,
nor his ox,
nor his donkey,
nor his donkey,
nor anything that is our neighbor.
nor anything that is our neighbor's.
Give Yahuwah a hand clap of praise.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Let's get ready to give him some praise. He is so worthy of our praise.
For it is for you.
Hallelujah. You are worthy of all our praise. Yahuwah. And you're Yashib. Yahusha. Hamashiach. Bought us with a price. The price that we can never repay.
Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Yes.
I will worship you in the beauty of holiness, because you are Kodesh. I want to worship you in spirit and in I want to worship you I want to worship you right. Morning, noon, and night. I want to worship you in the beauty of holiness, because you are our holiness. I want to worship you in spirit and in y'all can sing it if you want to. Back. I want to worship you right in the beauty of holiness, because you are so good. I want to worship you in spirit and in truth. You wake me up in the morning. I want to worship you all through the day. I want to worship you in the evening time. I want to worship you all through the night. I want to worship you, Yahuwah. Yahushua. Yahuwah. Yahushua. In the beauty of holiness, because you are Kodesh, I want to worship you in spirit and in truth. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Yahuwah, our Elohim, the Ancient of Days, lead us and guide us in the paths of righteousness for the name's sake. You are worthy of all of our praise, all of our esteem.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Of all of our
Hallelujah.
You are worthy of all of our worship. You are worthy. And your Yahshua, Yahushua HaMashiach, is worthy to break the seal and open the book. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We long for the day to see his return. Help us to be not just hearers, but doers of your word. Help us to withstand the fiery darts of the enemy. Burn us up in these last days. We cry out to you, Yahuwah. We cry out to you today. Have your way in this place.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Hallelujah.
You are worthy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You are so worthy. You are so worthy.
Because you are the witness, I want to worship you. Morning with
Hallelujah.
I want to worship you. The beauty of holiness. Because you are the witness, I want to worship you. Morning
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah.
Praise, he is worthy.
Hallelujah.
He is worthy. He is worthy. Hallelujah.
Barak Hashem Yahuwah. Barak Hashem Yahuwah. Hallel you Yahuwah. Hallel you Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
Worthy to give all thanks and esteem to your beautiful name. Hallelujah Yahuwah. Hallelujah Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Oh, we got Yahuwah, Barak Hashem, Yahusha, Barak Hashem, Yahuwah, Barak Hashem, Yahusha, Todah, for all you have done, Todah, thank you for all you're doing, Todah, thank you for all you will do, Todah, hallelujah, Barak Hashem, what's the name? Yahuwah, Barak Hashem, Yahusha, Barak Hashem, Yahuwah, Barak Hashem, Yahusha, Todah, for all you have done, Todah, for you're doing, for all you're doing, doing. Soda. For all you will do. Soda. Hallelujah. Baruch Hashem. Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem. Yahusha. Baruch Hashem. Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem. Yahusha. Toda. For all you have done. Toda. For all you're doing. Toda. For all you will do. Toda. Hallelujah.
Thank you in your own word.
Hallelujah. I say, so now Yahushua needed to be that sacrifice to lamb for all of us. They competition known to the Father. You are so worthy of your word. Hallelujah. You said perfect peace is mine and stay on him.
Thank you for your shalom.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Father. Yahuwah, Baruch Hashem. Yahusha, Baruch Hashem. Yahuwah, Baruch Hashem. Yahusha, Toda. For all you have done, Toda. For all you're doing, Toda. For all you will do, Toda. Hallelujah!
Isn't it good? Isn't it good? Taste and see that God is good. He is worthy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, we lift up and magnify your name. Hallelujah. We exalt you.
Hallelujah. You are worthy.
Praise, adoration,
Hallelujah.
worship. Hallelujah. 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 Shabbat Shalom. It is Yom Shabbat. Hallelujah. Oh, yes, we look forward to Shabbat every week. Hallelujah.
Why am I still in the state of praise, right?
We were made to praise Him. Just because we came out of that false church doesn't mean that we don't praise Him on Shabbat.
Hallelujah. God. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Take the isolation off of it. Shaddai Ab Yahuwah, you are so worthy. Hallelujah.
He is. Hi.
Hallelujah. 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 Our Torah portion for today comes from Devarim, starting at chapter 1 and verse 1. Deuteronomy, or Devarim in Hebrew, chapter 1 and verse 1 is where we're starting today.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well, you have to just say Khan,
Khan.
and if you find it before your neighbors, if they have a safari, you can let them know in the safari what page it's on.
Yeah, and the secret, it says Devereen or Devereen.
It says
B,
Devereen, but you know they do that letter substitution in Yiddish, so
yeah.
we're putting it B where
Is Devereen one?
Devereen 1 and 1. Is everyone there? These are the words which Moshe spoke unto all Yasharal on this side, Yarden, in the wilderness, in the plain, over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Hotel, and Lavan and Asherah, and Dizahab. There are 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir unto Kadesh. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moshe spoke unto the children of Yasharal, according to all that Yahuwah had given him in commandment unto them. After he had slain Alathar Sihon, king of the Amorim, which dwelt in Heshbon. Now, just so we know, the Amorim were of the Nephilim. They were giants.
May I ask the name of today's
Do not fear them.
story?
So, after they had slain Alathar Sihon, the king of the Amorim, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Alathar Og, another Nephilim, the king of Bashan, another giant, which dwelled at Asherah and Eberi. On this side, Yarden, in the land of Moab, began Moshe to declare Alathar this Torah, saying, Yahuwah Eloheinu spoke unto us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of the Amorim, unto all the places nigh thereunto in the plain, in the hills and in the valley, in the Negev and by the seaside. So the hills, the valley, the desert, and the seaside, to the land of the Canaanim, or the land of Canaan, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the river Parat. Behold, I have set Alathar the land before you. Go in and possess Alathar the land which Yahuwah swore unto your fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, Jacob, to give unto them and their seed after them. And I spoke unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. They had multiplied when they were in Mitzrayim, and they were constantly multiplying. That's why the Misri were so terrified of us, because they knew that eventually we would outnumber them. Yahuwah was making us fruitful. It says in verse 10, Yahuwah Allah King has multiplied you. And behold, ye are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers made you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you as he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And he answered me and said, the thing which you have spoken is so, for it is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribe, wise men and known, and made Elikab them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. And I charged Elikab, your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with them. So we know there was one Torah for Yashar'al and one Torah for the stranger. He's giving instructions to the judges here. Judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall fear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man. For the judgment is Elohim's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. And I commanded you at that time, Aleph-Tav, all these things which you should do. So basically, he gave them instructions. Here are the matters in which there were disputes among the people. And if it was too hard for them, they could bring it to him, and he would judge. So what he's doing here is delegating his authority among the people. Because there were so many of them that it was impossible for him to hear all the matters. There were just too many of them, so we had to have some help. We all need some help sometimes. Even Moshe delegated that authority. Verse 19. And when we were departed from Horeb, we went through Aleph-Tav, all the great and terrible wilderness, which ye saw by the way of the mountain of the Emarim, as Yahuwah Eloheinu commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea, and I said unto you, you are come into the mountain of the Emarim, which Yahuwah Eloheinu gives to us. Behold, Yahuwah Elohega has set Aleph-Tav, the land, before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahuwah Elohai of your fathers has said unto you. Fear not. This is the second time he's saying this. Fear not, neither be discouraged. So, I just want to take a moment here and just ask, I'm just going to put it out there. What is it that you're fearing in these last days? What is your giant? What is it in your daily life that has you on the verge of fear? Yahuwah has not given us the spirit of fear, but of a strong mind. So, whatever it is that you fear, I want you to remember our Torah study today. Ye shall not fear them. Okay, whatever it is, and neither be discouraged. That's just a word for your everyday life. Verse 22. And ye came near unto me, every one of you, and said, we will send men before us, and they shall search us out of the land, and bring us word again by Alatov what way we must go up, and Alatov into what cities we shall come. And the saying pleased me well. This is Moshe speaking. And I took 12 men of you, one of the tribe, and they turned and went up into the mountain, and came unto the valley of Eshcol, and searched it out. And they took of the fruit of the land in their hands, and brought it down to us, and brought us word again, and said, it is a good land, which Yahuwah Elohim gives us. Notwithstanding, he would not go up, but rebelled against Alatov, the commandment of Yahuwah Elohim. Verse 27. And ye murmured in your tents, and said, because Yahuwah hated us, he has brought us forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, to deliver us into the hand of the Amorim, to destroy us. So they were afraid of the Amorim. They were afraid of the giants. Verse 28. Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged Alatov our hearts, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there. Then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. Do you notice how many times Moshe is having to prop them up? This is like the third time already. Verse 29 bears repeating. Then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. Yahuwah Elohim, which goes before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes. And in the wilderness, where you have seen how that Yahuwah Elohim bore you, as a man bears Alatov his son, in all the way that ye went, until ye came into this place. Yet in this thing ye did not believe Yahuwah Elohim. It's a dangerous thing to be in disbelief. Think about your life. Think about how many things Yahuwah has delivered you from in your life. Looking back, How many times can you say, his hand moved there? He brought me out with a strong arm. He delivered me from that cancer. He walked with me through that miscarriage. He was with me when I went to jail. He was with me. How many times can you look back in your life? The one thing that we don't want to do is doubt Yahuwah, our Elohim, or murmur and complain about where we are in this life. Okay? Let's remember how he has delivered us out of the situations of the past. And remember, his arm has not shortened. His arm is still that same mighty arm. Yahuwah does not change. He is still able to deliver us today from whatever it is we're going through. So I want you to be encouraged on today that Yahuwah will fight for you, just like he fought for your ancestors. Verse 33. Who went in the way before you to search you out a place to pitch your tents in fire by night, to show you by what way ye should go, and in a cloud by day? See, he's trying to get them to remember what was done for them. Who was that? In the pillar of fire and the cloud. I'm just putting that out there. Who was that? Who? Talk to me.
Yahusha.
It was Hamashiach. It was Yahusha. It's leading them through the desert, through the wilderness. I mean, how can you doubt when you have a pillar of fire lighting the way for you to walk at night so you can see where you're going? And a cloud that dwells, and when it doesn't move, you just stay there. When it moves, you move. He led them through the wilderness. Hallelujah. Woo!
Hallelujah.
Fire by night and in a cloud by day. Verse 34. And Yahuwah heard Aleph talk the voice of your words, and was wroth, and swore, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that Aleph talk good land, which I swore to give unto your fathers, save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him will I give Aleph the land that he has trodden upon, and to his children, because he has only followed Yahuwah. Also, Yahuwah was angry with me for your sakes, saying, you also shall not go up and hither. So he told Moshe, you are not going into the land. He got to see it from the mountain, but he did not get to enter into the land. So that's not an example for us to follow. We can't give in to our anger. When we get angry, we can't give into that anger. We can't allow people to get us out of our character, to change us into that angry person, which is basically the spirit of rebellion. Yahuwah says, vengeance is mine. So, whatever it is that you're going through, don't allow it to keep you from getting to the land. Don't take your eyes off the prize.
Hallelujah.
Verse 38. But Yahusha, the son of Nun, which stands before you. He shall go in hither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Aleph Yasharal to inherit it. So, he's named two people. Caleb, Yahushua, son of Nun. They're going into the land. Now, when they were murmuring and complaining, they were complaining about their children being killed. Watch what he says here in verse 39. Moreover, your little ones, which you said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in hither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. You see his mercy here? You see his mercy in this passage. Because the little ones and the children had no knowledge of good and evil, he lets them go into the land, but he's killing off that generation of the parents that were murmuring and complaining in the wilderness. For the children, he's had mercy upon them, and they're able to go into the land and possess it. Verse 40. But as for you, turn you and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then he answered and said unto me, we have sinned against Yahuwah. We will go up and fight according to all that Yahuwah Eloheinu commanded us. And when ye had girded on every man, Aleph, his weapons of war, ye were ready to go up into the hill. And Yahuwah said unto me, Moshe speaking, say unto them, this is what Yahuwah told me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you. Let me just say, I don't know how they chose to ignore that. Why would you ignore that? Yahuwah just told you, don't you understand? You're the whole reason he's the whole reason you were winning the battles in the first place. And so now he tells you, go not up. Oh my gosh. Ooh, we are some hard-hearted, stiff-necked people. I see why he says that. I'm going to read verse 42 again. And Yahuwah said unto me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. Verse 43. So I spoke unto you, and ye would not hear, but rebelled against Aleph, the commandment of Yahuwah, and went presumptuously up into the hill. Like they had some power without Yahuwah. Come on now. Come on. They went up into the hill to fight even after he told them not to. That's a sad thing. Shabbat Shalom. Come on down and join us.
They probably putting something up in the kitchen.
Shabbat Shalom. Who's a guy in the house?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 1. And we're about at verse 44. February 1 and 44. Hallelujah. And reading 1 and 44, and it reads, And the Amorim, which dwelt in that mountain, came out against you and chased you, as bees do, and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Hormah. And he returned and wept before Yahuwah. But Yahuwah would not hearken to your voice, nor give ear unto you. I'm just going to ask, does anybody, why do you think Yahuwah didn't hearken to their voice or hear their, give ear unto them or hear their prayers at that time? They were disobedient. They walked contrary to him. They didn't follow his commandments. You know, we today can still fall into that same trap. Sometimes it's so much easier for us to fall right into that same trap before we even realize that we're doing it. And the next thing you know, we've partaken in some kind of sin. So, you know, be vigilant because we are in the last days. So we need to be vigilant. We need to stay prayed up. Don't forget to fast. Stay prayed up. Because Yahuwah is going to deliver us.
Hallelujah.
Verse 46. So he abode in Kadesh many days, according unto the days that he abode there. Chapter 2. Then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And Yahuwah spoke unto me, and we compassed Aleph-Tah, Mount Seir, many days. And Yahuwah spoke unto me, saying, Ye have compassed Aleph-Tah, this mountain, long enough. Turn you northward. And commanded Aleph-Tah the people, saying, Ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir. Who had given the children of Esau Mount Seir for a possession. So he says, go through. Those are your brethren. You can go through. And watch how he follows this up. And they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore, meddle not with them. For I will not give you their land. No, not so much as a footbreadth, because I have given Aleph-Tah, Mount Seir, unto Esau for a possession. You shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. For Yahuwah Eloheka has blessed you in all the works of your hand. He knows Aleph-Tah. You're walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. Yahuwah Eloheka has been with you. You have lacked nothing. Think about that for a minute. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Not a shoe wore out. They ate on a regular basis. He provided food even supernaturally if necessary for them. He took care of them. He was with them every step of the way. And still they rebelled. Still they rebelled. So do you see what I'm saying? He's with us every step of the way today. And sometimes, without even really catching it, we can fall into rebellion. So we have to really guard ourselves against that.
Hallelujah.
Guard yourself against the murmuring and complaining. That's an awesome statement that he made. Yahuwah Eloheka has been with you, and you have lacked nothing. Verse 8. And when we passed by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Elah and from Etzion, Heber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. And Yahuwah said unto me, distress not Alaphah the Moabim, neither contend with them in battle. For I will not give you their land for a possession, because I have given Alaphah are unto the children of Lot for a possession. The Emim dwelt there in times past, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakim. So here we have yet another people that had giants among them, which also were accounted Rephaim as an Anakim. So they were class that came from the Nephilim. But the Moabim called them Emim. The Horim also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them from before them and dwelt in their stead, as Yasharal did unto the land of his possession, which Yahuwah gave unto them. Now rise up, said I, and get you over Alaphah the brook Zered. And we went over Alaphah the brook Zered. And in the space in which we came from Kadesh Barnea until we were come over Alaphah the brook Zered was 38 years. 38 years. 38 years. Until all the generation of men of war were wasted out from among the host, as Yahuwah swore unto them. See, his word is going to come to pass when he speaks it. It's going to come to pass. It's not an if, it's a when. When he speaks his word, you can be sure that it's going to come to pass. Verse 15, for indeed the hand of Yahuwah was against them, to destroy them from among the host until they were consumed. Here's a principle and a precept there. The little leaven leavens the whole lump. So he couldn't let the murmurers and the complainers and the rebellious people go into the land with the rest of the people, because that just takes the sin right into the land that he had promised them. So he had to root them out. And trust me, there's going to be a shaking before we go into the land. There's going to be a sifting. And those people who fall on the wrong side of the plumb line, who compromise themselves, and who continue to compromise themselves, to compromise with sin and in sin, are going to be sifted out. That's why I continue to be so vigilant in reminding everybody, now is not the time to slip. Now is not the time to lean to your own understanding. Now is not the time to backslide. Verse 16, so it came to pass, when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people, that Yahuwah spoke unto me, saying, you are to pass over through Alaphah, the coast of Moab, this day. And when you come nigh over against the children of Ammon, distress them not, nor meddle with them, for I will not give you the land of the children of Ammon any possession, because I have given it unto the children of Lot for a possession. That also was accounted a land of Rephaim. Rephaim dwelt therein in old time. And the Ammonim called them Zamzummim, a people great and many and tall as the Anakim. But Yahuwah destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed Alaphad, the Horim, from before them, and succeeded them, and dwelt in their stead even unto this day. And the Aviim, which dwelt in Hatzerim, even unto Gaza, the Caphtorim, which came forth out of Caphtor, destroyed them, and dwelt in their stead. So do you see what's happening here? It's a military conquest. One will come against the other, destroy them, and then they dwell in that land. That's what was happening. Verse 24, rise up, take your journey, and pass over Alaphad, the river Ammon. The river Arnon. Behold, I have given into your hand Alaphad, Sihon, the Amorite, king of Heshbon, Alaphad, his land. Begin to possess it, and contend with him in battle. This day will I begin to put the dread of you and the fear of you upon the nations that are under the whole heaven, who shall hear report of you and shall tremble and be in anguish because of you. And I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, let me pass through your land, and I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. You shall sell me meat for money, that I may eat, and give me water for money, that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet. As the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and the Moabim, which dwell in Ar, did unto me, until I shall pass over Alaphad, Yardim, into the land which Yahuwah Eloheinu gives us. But Sihon, the king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by. For Yahuwah Eloheka hardened Alaphad, his Ruach, and made Alaphad his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into your hand, as appears this day. And Yahuwah said unto me, behold, I have begun to give Alaphad, Sihon, and Alaphad his land before you. Begin to possess, that you may inherit Alaphad his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Yahatz. And Yahuwah Eloheinu delivered him before us, and we smote him, and Alaphad his sons, and Alaphad all his people. And we took Alaphad, all his cities at that time, and utterly destroyed the men and women and the little ones. Alaphad of every city. We left none to remain. Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we took. Is anybody thinking they destroyed everybody, even the women and the children and the little ones? It's because of the people that had dwelt in that land. It's because of the perversion that had gone on there. Yahuwah didn't want them to have, when he told them to go in and kill everything, it's because he did not want his people contaminated with the things that they were doing in that land. And that land had been contaminated by the Nephilim. So that is the reason. It's not because Yahuwah is not merciful, but he will not tolerate the abominations that were done. And they had to answer for that. So they took the cattle as a spoil. Verse 36. From Aurora, which is by the brink of the river Arnon, from the city that is by the river even unto Gilead, there was not one city, Elatah, too strong for us. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? All these cities that they were passing through, there was not one city that was too strong for them, that could stand up against them, because Yahuwah was fighting for them. Fear not. Do you think anything is too strong for Yahuwah today in your life? Do you think he can't put those things down that are rising up against you? He absolutely can. Have faith. Walk in faith. Yahuwah can put those things down that are rising up to challenge you in your everyday life. This word is a good word for our everyday life. Who are your giants? What is the thing that you fear? Do not fear them. No city could contend with him. He delivered all unto us. Verse 37. Only the land of the children of Ammon you came not, nor unto any place of the river Yabok, nor unto the cities and the mountains, nor unto whatsoever Yahuwah Elohim forbade us. So where he told them not to go, they didn't go. But everywhere he gave them license to go, they prevailed in their battle and they took the land. Chapter 3. Then we turned and went up the way to Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us, he and all of his people, to battle at Ederi. Now Og was also a giant. Where the maybe where the word ogre originates from. Og, king of Bashan. And Yahuwah, verse 2, Yahuwah said unto me, fear him not, for I will deliver him and Elatah, all his people, and Elatah, his land, into your hand. And you shall do unto him as you did unto Sihon, the king of the Amorim, which dwelt at Heshbon. So Yahuwah Elohim delivered into our hands Elatah, Og, the king of Bashan, and Elatah, all his people. And we smote him until none was left to him remaining. And we took Elatah, all his cities at that time. There was not a city which we took not from them. 80 cities, 30 cities they took. All the region of our God. The kingdom of Og in Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, beside unwalled towns, a great many, and we utterly destroyed them, as we did unto Sihon, the king of the Heshbon, utterly destroying the men and children of every city. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took for a prey to ourselves. And we took at that time out of Elatah the hand of the 2 kings of the Amorim, the land that was on this side Yarden, on this side of the Jordan, from the river Arnon unto Mount Hermon, which Hermon the Sidonian called Shiran, and Amorim call it Shinir. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan unto Kalta, and Ederi, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the Rephaim. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. His bed was a bed of iron. This is how big he was. He had to have an iron bed so that it could hold him. His bed was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth, after the cubit of a man. So his bed was 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. That indicates his size. Verse 12, and Alatah, this land which we possessed at that time from Aror, which is by the river Arnon, and half Mount Gilead, and the cities thereof gave I unto the Reuben and to the Gadian, unto Reuben and Gad. 13. And the rest of Gilead and all Bashan, being the kingdom of Og, gave I unto the half tribe of Manasseh. All the region of Argob and Bashan, which was called the land of the Rephaim. Yair, the son of Manasseh, took Alatah, all the country of Argob and the coasts of Geshuri and Maacah, and called them after his own name. So he took these cities and renamed them after him. Alatah, Bashan, Havoth, Yair, unto this day. And I gave Alatah Gilead unto Machir, and unto the Reubenim, and unto the Gadim I gave from Gilead, even unto the river Arnon, past the valley, and the border even unto the river Yabak, which is the border of the children of Ammon. The plain also, and Yarden, so the plain and Jordan, and the coast thereof, from Kinneroth even unto the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, under Ashdod, Haphegah, eastward. Verse 18. And I commanded you at that time, saying, Yehu Elohim has given you Alatah this land to possess it. Ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Yasharal, all that are meet for war. So everybody that was able to fight, get in line. But your women and your little ones and your cattle, for I know that ye have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you. So he's telling them, leave the cattle, women and children in the cities which I have given you. But every man of fighting age, come on. Verse 20. Until Yahuwah have given rest unto your brethren as well as unto you, and unto they also possess Alatah, the land which Yahuwah Elohim has given them beyond Yarden. And then shall we return every man unto his possession, which I have given you. So basically, he told them, y'all have some more fighting to do. All you men, you got to go fight. Leave the women, children, and cattle, Until everybody has their land that I've given them, then you can return your possessions. Okay? Everybody understand that? All right. So, we pick back up in verse 21. And I commanded Aleph-Tav, Yahusha, at that time, saying, your eyes have seen Aleph-Tav, all that Yahuwah al-Hakim has done unto these two kings. So shall Yahuwah do unto all the kingdoms, whither you pass. I mean, if that ain't a heads up, I don't know what it is. Because he's telling them in advance, every kingdom you pass, what I just did, what you just saw me just do, I'm going to do that to all of them. That's who's on our side.
Hallelujah.
That's who fights for us.
Khan.
When you're going through, that's who you're praying to. Hallelujah. He will fight for you. Do not fear them.
Khan.
Pick it up in verse 22. Ye shall not fear them, for Yahuwah al-Hakim shall fight for you. All right, that completes our Torah portion for today. And now we're going to go to the half Torah and Yeshayahu or Isaiah. We're going to pick it up at 1 and 1. Isaiah 1 and 1 through 27. Our portion for the half Torah. And in my Sephar, it's on page 627. So let's do that Sephar. Hallelujah. Isn't it who good?
Khan.
Look how he protected them. Look how when the ones that were obedient to him, how he fought for them. The ones that were rebellious and disobedient, not going into the land. The ones that were obedient to him, he kept them. There was not a city that they came against that they could not take. And most of those cities had more people than they did. And they were bigger. And they had giants among them. So, it was like they were going up against the impossible. If it had not been for Yahuwah fighting on their behalf, they could not have defeated all those cities and taken all those walled cities like fortresses that were built up with bars and high fences and everything to stop people from just coming in. But you can't stop Yahuwah. When he purposes a thing and he speaks his word, it will come to pass. You cannot stop him. Hallelujah. So we're going to pick back up with the half of our portion in Yeshayahu or Isaiah, verse 1 and 1. And it reads, the vision of Yeshayahu, the son of Amas, which he saw concerning Yahudah and Yerushalayim in the days of Uzziyahu, Yotam, Ahaz, and Yahu, kings of Yehudah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahuwah has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Yasharal does not know. My people do not consider. Sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Elohim, Yahuwah. They have provoked the Kodesh one of Yasharal, the Holy One of Yasharal, unto anger. They are gone away backward. I guess that's his way of saying backslide. They're gone away backward. Why should he be stricken anymore? He will revolt and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. And it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahuwah Sabaoth had left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Amorah. What do they mean when they say that? Except Yahuwah left them a remnant, they would have been destroyed like Sodom. Hear the word of Yahuwah, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the Torah of our Elohim, ye people of Amorah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Says Yahuwah. I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or lambs or of he-goats. When ye come to appear before me, who has required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me, and the new moons, and Shabbatai, the calling of assemblies. I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. This is an indictment of his people. The wickedness that went on in Sodom and Gomorrah, they had turned from his ways and were participating in all kinds of wickedness. When strangers came into town, instead of opening up their houses and offering them a place to lodge, they tried to take them and have relations with them. They mistreated them. They mistreated the strangers and the sojourners and the people that would come through the city. they were exceedingly wicked. In case you wonder why Yahuwah is taking this posture toward them, it's because of the way that they walked in front of him, in his sight. They didn't fear him. They figured, we can just do what we want. Does that kind of sound like today? People just think anything goes. You know, we can just do whatever. Wild and out. It don't matter. You know, nobody's going to hold us accountable.
You know, they're also beginning to say that there's no point or purpose to marriage.
Say that again a little louder so the people online can hear you.
I said they're also beginning to say that there's no point or purpose to marriage. Like, why should you get married?
Right. And so, you know, and we all know that's an abomination to Yahuwah. Because that's an institution that he gave. So there's absolutely going to be a judgment because of that. You know, because they're leaning to their own understanding and they're walking in the way that they want to walk in. And this is all through this country right now. Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. Personally, I believe that they're taking that stance because one of the high rate of divorce, two, because women can marry women and men can marry men. So the norm of a man and wife coming together as a union is being cast out. And it's being replaced with anything else.
Right. I know that. I see it. I see it all the time. I see little boys with two dads. Little boy, you know, he doesn't have an example of honor in his home. Yahuwah gave us two parents for a reason. Because you need what your mama gives you, and you also need the things that your father can teach you. But when you have a lopsided thing and you put two daddies there, you're going to get something different. And I'm watching all this stuff every day.
But the result of that will be additional perversion, you know, because that would be a norm for that child.
Exactly.
So that would be something that they will most likely branch off into themselves instead of falling into the path of the norm, which would be a man and woman.
And to further that along the path, when they go to school, the schools are asking them, even elementary schools are asking them, Tommy, what gender do you identify as? Instead of saying, Tommy, you're a boy, Sarah, you're a girl, they're asking elementary school kids, what gender do you identify as? In other words, if you don't want to be a girl, you don't have to be a girl. If you don't feel like you want to be a boy, you don't have to be a boy. This is an abomination.
And what's sad is that, I mean, to me it's sad because you have parents that actually support the kids. I'm talking about kids that are like 5 or 6 years old, making a decision like that. That is such a strong and concrete decision. Wanting to make that for a boy 6 or 7 to say that I no longer want to be a boy. I want to change my name to a female's name, and I want to be like a female. And the parents are actually supporting that.
Right. So, I mean, that's the ramifications of that are huge because the parents aren't parenting. It's the parents' job to say, stop that nonsense. You were born a boy, you're going to be a boy. Or you were born a girl, and you're a girl. I'm not going to permit you to wear boys' clothes. I'm not going to permit you to do those things. I mean, can you imagine your parents, if you walked in and said something foolish like that, do you think they would have supported you, or do you think you would have got put you on the backside?
Yeah. Stop it.
I know I dare not come home with any of that nonsense. So, you know, these are all devices of Hasatan to destroy the family. He wants to destroy the families. He's completed his mission to kill, destroy, spread lies. He's the father of lies. And all these things that these people are believing are a lie. You can be whatever gender you want. That's a lie. And an abomination. And so it's an indictment of our society, and it's a clear indicator of what time it is. That we are, in fact, in the last days, because everything that the word says is going to come to pass is coming to pass. And you can see that each successive generation gets a little bit worse, and a little bit worse, until they're all going to be wholly given over to reprobate minds. Not just the parents, but the children. And it's sad because Yahuwah says he will visit the sins of the fathers unto the fourth generation of the children. So, that's not good. It's not good. And that's one of the reasons that in these last days, we have to stand strong and we have to be teachers and preachers of righteousness. Because maybe somebody will hear you and a seed will be planted. I mean, most often they're going to do what they want to do, but sometimes if you could just get through to one person, I had some bad news the other day when I went to work. One of my coworkers that I was expecting to see back for the season, somebody that I had witnessed to, and was praying that they would come into the truth. They were found dead in the car out in the township. They say it was natural causes, but my point is, yesterday's gone, tomorrow is not promised. What if Yahuwah requires your life tonight? Well, how would you say it? It's important for us not to compromise ourselves, but to continue to walk in His Torah. Because tomorrow is not promised. This person was younger than I, in good health, seemingly, and their life was required of them. It saddens me because I had hoped that she would have come into truth, but she was resistant to the truth. So we have to continue to share and to pass on the things that Yahuwah is teaching us about our walk and in our daily life. Because if we can even keep one person from going down the path of unrighteousness, then we're bearing good fruit. And what does He say in His word? Good trees bear good fruit, and corrupt trees bring forth corrupt fruit. So we want to try our best to bring forth good fruit. We're going to pick up in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16. Wash yourself. Make yourself clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, let us reason together, says Yahuwah. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they may be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahuwah
Hallelujah.
has spoken it. That's pretty strong. After the conversation that we just had, this is a living word. And it's good for us today, just as good for us
Hallelujah.
today as it was for them when he spoke it, and every generation in between.
Come.
Hallelujah. Verse 21. How is the faithful city become a harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it. But now, murderers, your silver is become dross, your wine mixed with water. Your princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loves gifts and follows after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither does the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore, says Adonai, Yahuwah Sabaoth, the mighty one of Yasharal, I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies. You think he's talking about some other people here? He's talking about our ancestors when he says, my enemies, my adversaries. They could have had the blessings, but they chose the curses. Verse 25. And I will turn my hand upon you and purely purge away your dross and take away all your tin. And I will restore your judges as at the first, and your counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, you shall be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. So he's about to purge all the abominations. He's about to get rid of everyone who's not for him. If you're not for him, you're against him. And that's a good word still for today. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. I have to highlight that. And that's where we're going to leave off for the half Torah today. Verse 27. You left off with the strong statement.
Come.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. Hallelujah. Okay, if everybody would turn with me to Marcus or Mark, chapter 14, verses 1 through 16. Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 16. Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 16. It's on page 1271. When you have it, just say Connie. Thesaurus Marcus, Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, verse 1, and it reads, After 2 days was the feast of the Pekah and of Matzah. So the Pesach, the Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread is what it's talking about here. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. And being in Bethany, in the house of Shimon, the jar maker, as he sat at meat, the he that is referring to is Yahushua HaMashiach here. Verse 3, and being in Bethany, in the house of Shimon the jar maker, as he sat at meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of ointment of spikenard, very precious. And she broke the box and poured it on his head. This was a very expensive mixture that she poured on his head. Verse 4, and there were some that had indignation within themselves and said, why was this waste of ointment made? Now, I ask you, they've seen him performing miracles, right? They've seen him heal the lame, the blind to see, the lame to walk. But it's a waste of ointment to anoint his head. Do you see how even the people that were following him are thinking within themselves? What does Scripture say? There is none good, no, not one. Well, they know he's Hamashiach, he's the Messiah. And even they're thinking, why is she wasting that ointment on him? Come on. Verse 5. And here's what they're saying. For it might have been sold for more than 300 pence and have been given to the poor. And they murmured against her. And Yahushua said, let her alone. Why trouble ye her? She has wrought a good work on me. For ye have the poor with you always. And whensoever ye will, ye may do them good. But me ye have not always. Verse 8. Aleph, she has done what she could. She has come beforehand to anoint my body to the burying. That's a deep statement. I mean, he's telling them, I'm about to die. And she has anointed my body to the burying. What a barak that was for her.
So she anointed him ahead of time. Why do you think that was so? Because speak up so everybody can hear you.
Because she knew what he was getting ready to go.
It could be that it was revealed to her, but I don't think that's what she's looking for. So it's out there on the floor. Does
Anybody else?
anybody else have an idea why she would have anointed him?
It came to me.
What was the purpose of anointing him ahead
It came
of
to
time?
me in the statement he made. She done what she could. Some of us are pointing.
Anybody else?
Stretching just a little bit further, y'all.
He's trying to stretch your mind.
Let's see our onliners, what they have to say.
See what the people online say. What would be the purpose of anointing a Mashiach ahead of time?
One daughter says she don't know.
Okay.
The reason for anointing him ahead of time would be because with everything that he was going to go through, they would have never did it in the fashion that was just due for the person that he was. So she was compelled to give him everything that she thought would be a blessing to him, and to give him strength and encouragement to make it through and stay strong and not walk away from his faith and his convictions.
Well, you just about there, Coop, with where I was at with that. And the fact that being the custom of burial for them, and like you said, they didn't have time to do that because they were coming upon the feast day. They just put them in the grave. They weren't able to go through the normal preparation for burial for him. So Yah provided that for him ahead of time through.
So
Through her offer.
Hmm?
Through her offer.
Mhm. The ointment.
Was her,
Mhm.
yeah, the ointment was her offer.
And it took her a year to save up to have that amount of perfume ointment that she had. Him being a king too,
mm-hmm. He wouldn't allow his Yashid to be buried without being anointed, because he was the anointed one.
Is it in correlation with that? I know in Christianity we have this term called Christ or whatever, and here in Israel we call him HaMashiach, which means the anointed. So is it like the fulfillment of his name, or his name to do with anointed, the anointed himself to fulfill what we would call him to be anointed?
I would agree with that. That it was a fulfillment. And,
in different aspects. What she said, what you said, it had multiple meanings to it, but the most obvious one was the fact that they weren't able to anoint him at the time of his death and burial. So Yahuwah provided ahead of time
That was part of their
custom. Right, exactly.
It's clearly in Exodus when they anointed the priest.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron was the anointed one in Exodus 29. It talks about how the priest would walk through and that Aaron and his sons be all anointed, and that would signify that he was the Most High. He was the high priest.
And exactly. Now that's even a better answer, because what happened with Hamashiach? He's a priest, a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. And he is our high priest. And so, yes, he was anointed. He is royalty. He is a king.
I have a question, and I'm sorry. Okay, you asked the question, or you made the statement when you read it about someone that was in his presence asked, why would she do this? And why would she waste it? I'm just curious because I don't know the background per se. At this moment in time, who were the individuals that were around him? Were those prophets or were they?
His disciples.
His
Mhm.
disciples, his taught ones, ones that had seen the works that he had done and had walked with him and watched him feed the multitudes and watched all the miracles that he had wrought. And so, you know, it kind of speaks to their selfishness, you know, because they knew who he was. He's worthy of whatever they could do for him. So why would they, you know, deny him that to say that she should have taken that and sold it and used it to feed the poor? You know, and he said as much. You'll have the poor with you always, but I won't be here always. I won't be with you. And so, you know, Yahuwah causing her to do that, it just speaks of who he is and his character, because he is the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. He already knows what exactly is going to happen to his Yashid, his favorite one. And so he caused her to do that, to anoint him.
And they lacked understanding.
Yes, they
were still clueless. They were having those moments, you know.
I mean, they walked with him every day and they didn't understand fully who he was, how he did what he did, why he did what he did. I mean, talk about being slow. If I see somebody raise somebody from the dead, I kind of know this person is special. If I see somebody cause the blind to see, the deaf to hear, and the lame to walk, and then I'm going to argue about anointing him?
They lacked a lot back then. You know, they didn't get everything that they needed until after. You know.
And that happened in a lot of instances with them. They didn't understand what he was saying when he said it, but later it came back to them. And not only when I say later it came back to them, later they would remember that it was a fulfillment of prophecy. Later they would see that exactly what he said was going to come to pass came to pass. And so it was a teaching moment for them.
Once they got the Ruach, everything was quick. So they had more understanding of everything.
Hallelujah.
Transpired.
Not only did they have more understanding, they began to operate in the gifts and callings that he had given them. And they were empowered. When they went out after receiving the Ruach, they were a changed people. They were able to do the works, and they did some powerful works for the kingdom after they went out. So, let's see. So I'm going to pick it up where we left off in verse 9. And we're going to verse 16. And then we're going to have questions. So it says in verse 9, I say unto you, wheresoever this Besorah shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also that she has done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. So there's the barak. There's the blessing that he's given her because she was obedient to what the Father wanted her to do. Because she was obedient, because she took something that was precious that she saved a whole year for, to take and anoint his Yeshua, his Mashiach. This is the Barak that she gets for that. And he made this noteworthy. I say unto you, wheresoever this Torah shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also that she is done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. And Yehuda Iscariot, one of the 12, went unto the chief priest to betray him unto them. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money. And he sought how he might conveniently betray him. Verse 12. And at the beginning of the daylight hours of the Pesach week, the Passover week, when they killed the Pesach, when they killed the lamb, his Talmudim said to him, where will you that we should go to prepare that we may eat the Pesach?
Okay, right there, verse 12 that you just read.
Mm-hmm.
This version says on the first day of unleavened bread. The Sefer says at the beginning of daylight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the first day of Pesach. Of unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread.
There's another scripture that establishes the day begins. Not in the evening time, but
At the dawn.
at the dawn of day.
Let's read it again. Excellent point. And at the beginning of the daylight, the night before, that's not what it says. It says at the beginning of the daylight hours of the Pesach week. So you know that unleavened bread immediately follows Pesach. So that you have the Pesach, the Passover, which they ate at night, in the evening, and the very next day is the beginning of unleavened bread. And at the beginning of the daylight hours of the Pesach week, when they had killed the Pesach, the Talmudim said unto him, where will you that we should go to prepare that we may eat out of the Pesach? And he sent forth 2 of his Talmudim, and said unto them, go ye into the city, and there shall meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him, and wheresoever he shall go in, say ye to the good man of the house, the master says, where is the guest chamber, where I shall eat out of the Pesach with my Talmudim? Verse 15. And he will show you a large upper room, furnished and prepared. So he's doing a Yahuwah move right here. He's telling them in advance, just like Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you see this man, this jar of water, follow him, and wherever he goes in, say unto the good man of the house, where the master says. And of course, everything that he said comes to pass. He will show you a large upper room. And this is the famous upper room of the Last Supper. He will show you a large upper room, furnished and prepared. It's already ready for them. There, make ready for us. There, make ready for us. Yahuwah knows, he knew what Hamashiach was going to go through every step of the way. He understood what was going to happen, who was going to do it. Scripture says he created some vessels for good, some vessels for evil. So Judas Iscariot, he knew that he was going to be the one to portray Hamashiach. Okay, and all that was set in place. And so this is where we leave off.
You read verse 16.
At verse 16. And here and it reads, and his Talmudim went forth and came into the city and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready for the Sabbath. And he told them, happened exactly like he said. You have to be who he was to function in that way. You have to absolutely be a Mashiach to function like that. And he functions exactly as he sees Yahuwah do. So that's where we're leaving off today from our Torah portions. Does anybody have any questions? Did everybody understand what we read today? I don't want to leave anybody in a lurch. I want to make sure that that we understood. It was pretty straightforward. I mean, again, I want to encourage everybody that now is not the time to fall asleep on what is happening in the world. Prophecy is being fulfilled every day. I'm going to say that again. Prophecy is being fulfilled every day.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I came, my mother,
You got to speak up, Akul.
before I came, my mother was on her phone. And she was listening to the people in Texas. They had a great flood or something.
Yes.
And there was some people, some families in cars. And I guess the water had got to the point where the flood. And there was a young lady also, she was hollering, she was saying, they're not helping us, y'all, they're not helping us over here. He said, I don't know, there's a lot of racism over here. They're helping other people, they're not helping us. And then another person said, it's starting to start.
They said what?
It's starting the racism. You know?
We are absolutely in the last days, and hatred against our people is still going on. You can see that we are still in the land of our captivity. We think we like it. We have come so far, right? We've got even a president of color now, so we must be on equal footing, right? I'm here to tell you that generational curse of hatred is still working even now in some people nowadays. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that all of them are like that. But some of them are still operating in the curse of hatred. Scripture calls us, O nation not desired, a byword. We be a byword. Scripture said we be a byword. And you can see that attitudes nowadays for people, they're not holding back what they think. There was a time that they would hold it in. But now they feel that they're empowered to say whatever they want to. And be careful when you're out in the public, because these people now, they feel empowered to just do what they want to do.
She had a question.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
After y'all
Yeah.
question, I would like to share my testimony
So,
on what happened to me this week. But I'm gonna wait for it.
yeah, we're gonna take the question and then you can share the testimony.
Well, it's not a question, it's actually a statement. I know that they have put on the news that there was this one factory in Wyoming where the employees had volunteered to take the mark, the RFID chip. Well, I was on YouTube this morning, and there was an Israelite who had found an article where the governor, I guess, in Wyoming had they have already made every individual that received state assistance, they gave them, they didn't make them, but they gave them an option, either accepting the chip or not accepting the chip. Everyone, state employees, the garbage man, it doesn't matter who you work at. Either accept the chip or you're going to be terminated. Especially state officials. Anybody that works for the state.
Okay, so even the state employees were mandated to
Take the chip or you're going to be terminated. Now, they didn't put that on the news. The article said that the news were waiting to see, what the outcome was going to be, how many people will actually accept it, if this is something that they actually want to broadcast.
I believe that state has I believe it's a Republican government.
He was the first one to take it.
And I saw that when it was in the planning stages, probably a year ago, they were talking about doing something like that. So now they're actually implementing. So this really speaks to the time that we're living in, and the things are going to start happening. They're going to happen faster. It's going to get worse. And so, absolutely, we know the scripture says there's going to come a time where we can't buy or sell if we don't have the mark of the beast. We've been warning y'all to prepare for a couple of years now. Prepare. If you read the word and you believe the word and you do nothing to prepare, then the way you do it, don't believe the man who reads and believes and fails to prepare is like unto the fool. Right? And he gave me that probably a month ago. And he gave me permission to start packing our backpacks. Because he said, it's about to get worse. So we see these people going through this and being forced to do this, or with the threat of losing their job, their life, their income, their way to eat. So, like I said a few moments ago, prophecy is being fulfilled every day. And it's going to get worse. Because Scripture has forecasted it. When he, like I keep saying, when he says a thing, when his word goes out, it's going to accomplish the purpose for which it was sent. And so these things are coming. Great earthquakes are coming. Yellowstone, there are over 3,000, I think, earthquakes now. Earthquake swarms, like a woman that's pregnant, not just an earthquake, and then a month later, earthquake, and then more earthquake, and then more earthquake. It's happening almost daily. And Yellowstone has a huge amount of molten lava underneath it. And if that thing blows, if that volcano, if it releases that lava, it's absolutely going to be a national emergency. So, I mean, I can't stress it enough, y'all, that we need to be aware of these things and not operate in the spirit of fear, but trust in Yahuwah that He's going to deliver us. Because that's what He said. At this time, I would like Naima to come forward and share her testimony of what Yahuwah did for her this week. You can come up here. I'm not sure your son is.
Yeah, okay. I'm not supposed to stand here now. Well, yeah. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Everybody. I love all you guys here and out there. And I want to ask this question before I make my testimony. I tell you guys my testimony. My question is, what would you do to get out of your circumference for you? Is there anything that, like, you know, like a state of place where you're just like, I don't know if I can do this, or would you do any and everything? And the reason why I say this is because I was sleeping in my bed, and Yahweh spoke to me for a dream. And when he spoke to me, he said, go make my name known amongst the nations. And I said, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, in my sleep, I'm like, I don't get what you're saying, you know. And then I start asking, I said, well, how would I do that? And well, how could I make your name known? I don't have like anything with your name on it that I can say, this is Yahuwah, you know. And he spoke to me and said, your Pesach word. I said, this is my Pesach word right here. Passover, everybody signed their name and their name coming. Everybody who came signed their name because it was my first Pesach I've ever been to. And I was so happy. Mom gave me a board and I took it and kept it in my room. And on the back of it, it was empty. It was just clear space. All right. And I said, my Pesach word. So then I went to sleep and I woke up. And when I woke up, first thing I did was grab the board and I started writing. And on it said, Hallelujah, Yahuwah, the King is coming, repent. Shop. And I kind of messed up on the board because I was having a conversation with Yahuwah while I was doing it. I was still sleepy and I was in the sleep of being afraid because I'm like, they're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna think I'm crazy. You know, I'm talking to you more like, they're gonna laugh at me, they're gonna think I'm crazy, they're gonna make fun of me. I've never done this before. I never went out, you know, and did this and ministered to anybody. I'm what you call a babe, you know, I'm very, very new into this truth and I'm new into walking in this truth. So in the midst of me doing that, I kind of messed up and it's real funny that right here where it says King, I had forgot the end because I was still having a conversation with them. I'm like, so I had forgot the end, and my dad had to come home and help me fix it. Hallelujah that he came when he did, because I was out on my way outside with the kids coming. And so yeah, as I was doing that, I was like, I'm afraid anymore. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't, and he said, I said, they're going to make fun of me. They're going to think I'm crazy. And he said to me, they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you for my name. And I thought about it. And I made the I also said, well, why can't I do it tomorrow? And do I have to do it today? And he also said to me, it's every day promise. And I had to think about that, like, am I going to be able to wake up and do this that he has me to? Am I going to be able to wake up and say, make his name known amongst the nation? Make his name is all he asked me to do. And I heard it as clear as y'all hearing me right now. And I thank him for breathing the breath of life in me to be able to share this testimony between you guys here and you guys out there, because we was afraid, and I just didn't know what I was going to do. But once he said, it's everyday promise, I'm sure that you're going to wake up tomorrow and be able to do this. So I started writing, I started getting dressed, and I was on my way out. I was on my way out the door. Upon me going outside, Dad came through the door and started, what you doing? And I didn't have the words to tell him what I was about to do, because I wasn't sure that I'm really in my mind. I'm like, am I doing this? But in my actions, I was there. I was already on my way out with the kid. And he sat there and he fixed the board. And he prayed with me that the Ruach HaKodesh be with me on my way out there. So I went out there. I'm on the highways and the byways, y'all. And I had my sign up high as I could put it. I put it towards the Shamayim, and I held it so tight. And I screamed to the top of my lungs, hallelujah, Yahuwah. Repent, the King is coming. And it was like, it wasn't me talking. It's like the Father was putting the words in my voice. And I screamed it so loud. And I just walked like with it so high in the air, and everybody was looking at me. There was people riding past me, recording me with their phones, laughing at me. And I was like, it's okay though. I'm doing the Father's will. I'm being obedient to what He told me to do. There, I stumbled across 4, I believe, sitting in the car. And the lady at first she was like, she's around our age. And she was like, what? I'm not African, and I'm just like, the Ruach took over, and I just started telling them, like, no, we're not, just giving them facts, letting them know we were slaves, we were brought over here, we're still in the land of our captivity, prophecy is fulfilling itself. And it started off as a joke to them, but at the end, they got it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I was able to exchange numbers, give them my number and my social media. With all my social media is about Yahuwah, and I was able to just plant a seed. Even if you don't get them to come to Shabbat, or just planting that seed and being obedient to His voice, actually listening and hearing what He has to say and doing it, instead of making excuses, instead of coming out of your circumference, coming out of what makes you feel like, because a few months ago, you couldn't have got me to do that. I wouldn't have done it. I was like, no, I don't know. But I had to lay down all of that, just to be obedient to Him, and just to you know, I
Hallelujah.
come before the throne and he asked me, you know, I asked you to do this and not put it off. How would that make, you know, that charges me, you know? I wanted to be obedient to what he said to me. And another thing is, as I was doing it, I was able to minister to me to what is for the water. But hallelujah. On my way, I was like, all right, I'm done now. I didn't scream enough. I'm thirsty. I need some water. I'm on my way home. And on my way home, 2 police officers stopped me. And they pulled up on me and they were like, what are you doing? What are you doing out here? And I was like, I'm doing the Father's will. I'm making his name known amongst the nation. I'm telling people to repent. And, you know, they were like, well, we got a couple calls that, you know, they were very edgy with me, you know, and upon me approaching them, all I did was hallelujah or hallelujah, because I know how evil, you know, the system can be towards you, especially how they out there with signs and yeah. So I was praising the Father, and then he asked me, you know, what was I doing when I was out here, you know, I keep screaming, you know, people's property and stuff, and I'm like, I'm on highways and byways. That's why the word is a living word, and it tells and instructs us to do things, because he knew that it was going to be laws placed on to forbid us to go out on properties to make his name known. So he said go to the highways and byways. So when I did that, the funny thing was, the Ruach HaKodesh, and I must have looked at the police and I said, y'all need to repent. And they looked at me so mad, you know, I could feel that spirit rising up. And, you know, he's, what's your name? You live around here? And I'm like, yeah, I live around here. And just, you know, just knowing that they were so angry, it gave me confirmation that I was doing the right thing. You know?
Hallelujah.
And I rebuke all evil entities that may come my way.
Hallelujah.
I was not afraid. Any other time, you know, I put the comb swings on and say, yes, sir, master, and all that. But this time, I was not afraid. I was not afraid to tell them his name was Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
My name is Yahushua. And I just charge each and last one of you here and out there to come out your circumference. Come out what makes you shy, or what makes you vulnerable, or what makes you not wanting to actually do the whole will that you're called to do. Come out your circumference and give praises to his name. Give praises to his name. It took a lot of courage in me to get out there by myself. I had nobody with me. I was out there by myself. And I was bearing the great name. And I made his name known amongst the nation. And I just hope that he puts what he puts in me, and you guys all here and out there, that has you to be able to don't be afraid to bear his name, no matter what comes your way. So that's my testimony now.
Share your other vision he gave you to go downtown.
Oh yeah, and another one was I had that feel in me afterwards, and I was like, well, it don't stop here. You know, now I'm motivated. Now the data is putting on my it non-stop here. You know, it's a place in Detroit called the Riverwalk, where it's all type of people hanging out. Me and my mom and dad has visited that place this summer, maybe twice. And we see Egyptians out there, the other nations out there, we see the Africans out there, we see some drugging, smoking. I'm with my boyfriend, you know, young kids just doing the most, and you know, what is a better place to make it? Isn't that a great place? To plant those seeds, to go out there and just say, to go out there as a collective, all of us in this room, and even more out there, you know, blowing chauffeurs actually bearing the name, actually,
Hallelujah.
you know, telling people who they really are. Because of course you can go downtown or we can street preach, but we're not where they hang out at. We have to go down there and rebuke those spirits. We have to go rebuke the enemy that's down there. That's they kicking it, they hangout spot. I feel like that's a great place for us to actually be together, come together, and be set apart, and have people look upon us and actually minister to them and bear the name. I mean, this is by far not a street ministry. This has nothing to do with street preaching. This has everything to do with about making his name known. Because we know he does everything for his what?
Namesake. That's right.
So
Hallelujah.
we have to get up, and we have to get up, and we have to go out there and bear the great name in all joy, count it all joy, you know.
Hallelujah.
Have our signs, you know. I know my mouth is loud enough. Y'all could just say it behind me and just be that example. Like, I'm not alone. It's other people that believe what I believe. That walk in the street. When I was walking, when I said repent, I was saying these are the people who repented. Just y'all names did enough, you know. But as a presence of us getting together, I mean, and it's free to go down there. We don't have to pay to go down there. It's free to actually go down there collectively and bear the great name. And all we have to do is walk from that end to this end and be done. And fellowship afterwards.
What else? What are we gonna do?
My dad also suggested that we make sandwiches, chips, and pass out to people who are hungry or who are just would like to have food. Homeless, you know. We get out there and we share that fruit. We show the fruits of what we do and who we are as a people. Not only are we bearing the great name, but we're giving back. You know,
Hallelujah.
And, just feel empowered, like, because these are the moments that we're gonna have to look back on when the tribulation comes and tries to overtake us. We have to understand that we serve a purpose.
Hallelujah.
And our reward is
Hallelujah.
great. So we count it all joy, we count all of these things, and I really, really would love to, before the summer, because it's getting cold, so it ain't that many people that's gonna be down there anymore. But if we get down there in the right amount of time, it could be just us in this room. It could be just us in this room. We just get down there and just scream his name. Scream his name. That's that coming out of your circumference. That's coming out of your shell for Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
You know, I know it's a lot of us in here quiet. I know it is. That we are shy. Some of us, and I'm not picking nobody, but maybe some of us care what people think about us. Because I did. I cared. I thought I didn't want to be called crazy. I didn't want them to say, put me on World Star. But then I had to think about at least they still see his name.
Hallelujah.
I mean, whether it's good or evil, they still see his name. I still serve my purpose. So even if we are scared, even if we do care what people think, let's just try to put that aside. We've done enough evil. Let's do good.
Hallelujah. Barak Hashem Yahuwah. Barak Hashem Yahusha. You got to speak up, Akub.
I just wanted to tell you when you were saying that, when we were at the church, we did a lot of that falsehood. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
So we could do that for that.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
I mean, it's just, I'm so empowered. I'm so empowered, and I humbly ask, you know, we collectively get together, and it could be a Shabbat, it could be a day, a weekday, that we get together and we just do that, and we just share what we have, because it's not fair to not share that. It's not fair. It's people that desire their purpose. Before me coming into truth, I didn't know my purpose. I had to diligently seek it, you know. And when I was out there with my son, I was like, I took it and I was like, man, how I wish I was able to see me when I was in darkness. How I wish I would have been able to encounter me with a great name. Because if that would have, his name, the sheep know his name.
Hallelujah.
So if we say it and we bearing it and the sheep are going to be like, who is Yahuwah? I thought I knew that person. I thought I knew, and it just takes it, some of us don't have to say it. A sign, holding up a sign is enough. Like I said, my voice is loud enough. I'm gonna scream it because that's just what the rule I got that just put in me to just scream it. And some don't have to, some can, but if we've done so much that had unrighteousness. We have done so much in the world that if we could just hear his great name, because the King is coming.
Hallelujah.
He is coming. It's not a if, it's a when. So let's make sure we do our part. Hallelujah. I'm not there.
Hallelujah.
Sit down, brother. Sit down. Isn't it awesome? Isn't it awesome to see a young person who's walking in her convictions?
Yeah.
Yes, she was scared. She was scared. When I walked in the door from work, you could almost say she was trembling. She was moving toward the front door. She had that sign in her hand, and she said, I don't know how to tell you what I'm about to do. And I said, well, hold on a minute.
The King is coming.
Tell me what's going on. So she told me about her dream, and she told me what Yahuwah had instructed her to do. And she said, this is my sign. And I looked at the sign, and I read it. I read the names in Hebrew. And I got to the line where it says the King is coming. And I noticed there was an N missing. And I looked at it, and I'm thinking, the King. The King.
How we gonna have y'all get to the King?
And I told her, I said, hold on, daughter. They might not know who the King is. And when I said that, she looked at it again and she said, I forgot the N. I said, that's okay. We'll fix it. So I sat
Hallelujah.
there with her and we fixed it. Because she didn't have any other white board that was that big, so we had to make that one work. So we redrew the letters and got it to where it said what she wanted it to say. And I anointed her and prayed with her for her protection when she was out there in the highways and the byways. And I watched her walk out that door all by herself to make his name known, being obedient to Yahuwah. And that was priceless.
Hallelujah.
How many young people today, they're so wrapped up in themselves that they don't even think about others. But she has a heart for people, and she wants to see other people to know the joy that we know. She wants other people to experience the salvation that she's experienced. Because in less than 6 months, he turned her whole life around, upside down. He turned her whole life around. And she has a testimony. She's a walking testimony now. And so, she went perfectly with the message today. Fear them not. And it says in scripture that you will be hated of all men for my name's sake. So when, we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. We don't like to come out of our comfort zone. We like to stay right in our comfort zone where it's all good and we can do those things that we want to do. But right now we're coming up on, since the what is it, the eclipse happened?
Yeah.
We're coming up on the fall feast now. We're coming up on the fall feast. And it's so important right now that we stay strong and stay in our convictions and operate in the gifts that Yahuwah has given us. Because the Day of Atonement is coming. The Feast of Trumpets first, then 10 days of shock and awe, then the Day of Atonement.
Hallelujah.
Do you know what's going to happen at that time? There's a constellation that's going to appear over Yerushalayim. It says it in Isaiah or Revelation 12. It talks about the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet, with a crown of 12 stars. And that constellation hasn't been seen in 6,000 years. When it was seen last time, the crown consists of 9 stars, the constellations are made up, and 3 wandering planets. And for all of that to line up, when it happened before, one planet was different. And this time, that one planet is a planet that has always been looked at as representing Michael, one of the warring that fights for you, that fights for Yahshua. So this sign that's coming to pass in the heavens, he said he put those things up there for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So if there's a constellation and it's going to be visible over, not here, over Jerusalem, over the holy city, just at the day of
You can bring the salad down from out the refrigerator. But
I mean, that's quite something to think about. That's quite something to think about. And we as his people cannot ignore that. Now, we've been fasting. We've been praying in this house. We've consecrated the 40 days leading up to the Day of Atonement. From the day that the eclipse happened up to the Day of Atonement. We've been fasting. We've been praying that Yahuwah would use us. And he is doing. He's answering our prayers. He's using us in a mighty way. I have a testimony. I went to one of our Aki's grandmother passed. And he asked me when I come to the funeral and play a few songs for them at the funeral. His grandmother was 101. And she just passed. So yesterday I went to the funeral home. And as is my custom, I like to get there early so I have time to set up. And there was a guy that met me at the door. His name was Gary. Gary had the gift of helps. What do you need? Let me help you carry this. Let me help you carry your equipment in it. What can I get you? Let me show you where the mics are. And this is here and that's there. So Gary was wonderful to me. He helped me get all set up. And I started testing my equipment, playing the song. Of course, I was singing Yahuwah's name. And I saw a look in his eyes. He said, he didn't ask me about it, but I knew he was thinking about it. So I can see the Ruach HaKodesh starting to move in this place before the people even come in the door. Now, everybody came in, and pastor comes in. I didn't know the pastor. The pastor walks up to me and says, do you have like any soft jazz on that thing? Because he had heard me. And I explained to him that this wasn't a CD player, and that I had, you know, music on there that I was going to do for the funeral. So I went ahead and played while the family came in, just some soft music in the background. And they came in and sat down, and when it was time, Pastor motioned to me, he introduced me and says, we have Shema Ben Yehuda. He's going to play the song for the family. And so I did, and I sang, and when I did, I used the Father's name and true name. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat because I'm in a church and say the name that they're using. I'm going to use the Hebrew name. And I did that. And nobody said a word about it until after it was done. And then I came up later and I played another song. And when I got done with the first one, Pastor comes up to the podium. Now it's his church, and but there's another pastor that's preaching the message to the family during the funeral. So he comes up to the podium and he says, "That was a beautiful song, Brother Shema. That was beautiful." And I had talked about, well, I did the song today that says, "I want to worship you in the beauty of holiness because you are Kodesh." And it was like, Pastor learned something new. He said, "Kodesh, yes, he is holy. He is holy." And I can see the wheels turning now. So he asked me to do one more song later in the service, and I did that. And as I did that, I could tell that it was ministering to the people there. I'm trying to gauge because I don't really know how they receive it. You know, it's not traditional to see a person with a guitar playing at a funeral. Normally, it's an organ, and, you know, they get all excited and they start, you know, moving it up because it's a homegoing service. But to see me there, and I'm singing Hebrew names, and it's a little different. I didn't know how they were going to react to that, right? So when all was said and done, slowly, as I'm packing up after the pallbearers had taken the body, and the flower girls had taken the flowers, the staff at the church started to come up and say how much they enjoyed my ministry. They started to come up, and one guy came up and said, "I see you know the Father's name and the Son's name in Hebrew." And I kind of smiled and I said, "Well, they are Hebrews." He said, "Yes." And so I can see that the Ruach HaKodesh is moving in this place with these people. And they're Christian. But nobody bothered me about saying the Father's name. They were ministered to. And the family and the staff at the church came up and just thanked me. Aki came up and said, "What you did so far surpassed what I was expecting." And after we got done, both the pastor that it was his church and the pastor that did the sermon both asked for my card. And when I gave him my card, it bears Yahuwah's name and Yahusha's name on the card. And it says, "Yahuwah set apart assembly, unity of Yahshua all as one. Remnant of Yahuwah through Yahusha." And it has the Hebrew names. And you can see it was on my garments. And then there also talks about Proverbs 30:4 on here. It reads, "Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name? If thou canst tell." Proverbs 30:4. Then it says, "Headed from Mount Zion." And so when I gave them the card, they were both excited. They were both of them said, without exception, "I'm going to call you." And I stood out there and I talked to them for a few minutes. And I started witnessing to them. I explained that how the names in their Bibles had been changed, how they had taken out the Father's name, taken out the Son's name, replaced them with titles, G-O-D and L-O-R-D. And they were receptive to what I was saying. Both of them said, I'm going to call you. And so that was a pastor whose church it was. And the second pastor who did, he stood there and talked to me for an hour after I had all the equipment in the car out in the parking lot. And I witnessed him for an hour. He was very appreciative. I told him some things. I saw his eyes get big. He was agreeing with everything that I said. And so I just pray that Yahuwah will move through that. And I got a text later on in the day from King Steve, whose grandmother was at that pass, and he said, Yahuwah moved through you in a mighty way today. So hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Barak Hashem Yahuwah.
That is our reasonable service. What we can do. Because we have to go to where people live. We have to touch their hearts. We have to go where they're hurting. That's how they see us. When they see us in the community, and we're set apart, and we're ministering unto their needs, that's what sometimes opens doors for us. And I know it's the Ruach HaKodesh in operation. And I know it's Yahuwah who's doing it. I'm just a vessel. I'm just a servant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Just to see that seeds were planted in those people that were there yesterday. They might have came in talking about G-O-D and L-O-R-D, but they left that place thinking about Yahuwah and Yahusha. So, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. To Yah be the esteem. Hallelujah.
Yahuwah be the esteem. Let's pray and get ready for to enjoy the food which has been prepared by my lovely wife. And I just want to remind everybody, please don't take this the wrong way, but Shabbat is potluck. And so when I see her doing all the work and doing all the preparing, I haven't gone up to Grand Rapids and seen how their assembly works, and all the cooks when they come in are bringing a dish. That's what a potluck is. So please don't make her do all the work. Help her. Okay. Our Yahuwah, we come before you now just to say to God for who you are. You're awesome, perfect in all your ways, and there is none like unto you. We can't begin to thank you for all the things that you've done, all the times that you've moved in our lives, all the times that we couldn't see it when it was happening, but later we can look back and know that your hand moved in our life on that day. Maybe you saved us from something. Maybe you kept us from a bad situation. Maybe we had to experience a bad situation so that you could get our attention. But we know to count it all for our joy because you absolutely move on our behalf. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So we thank you for the word which came forth from your Torah today. We thank you for all that you have done, all that you are doing, and all that you will do in our lives, in the lives of this and call your assembly, and in the lives of all Yasharal, where they are scattered in the earth. We ask that you would Barak them, even now, as they have returned to covenant, are trying to walk in the way and keep your Torah and keep your laws and guard your precepts and follow your commandments and teach them to their children. We ask that you would be a hedge about their children, every family represented here today, that you would send your messengers and camp round and about their children and charge them to keep them safe from hurt, harm, and danger. We ask that as you do that the children of these families represented here would see their mothers and their fathers' good works and esteem you and Shammai, that they would see the example that is being lived out before them. Mom is different now. She's not like she used to be. I can't put my finger on it, but something about Mom is different now. She's just different. Let their children see them being set apart and desire what they have. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. To die.
For those things, what you are doing, we can't always see your hand moving when it's coming. Sure, see it.
Hallelujah.
So, as we get ready to leave this place, remember your presence. We say, may Yahuwah rock you and keep you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you his shalom. Rock the children of Yahshua.
Hallelujah.
In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, our Messiah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Now, Abba Yahuwah, we ask that you would help us not to just be hearers of the word, that you would help us to be doers of the word this week. As we said about our week, help us to be a baraka to someone. Help us to be a blessing to everyone that we come in contact with. Let our countenance be changed so that they see our good works and esteem you and Shammai. We say, Barak are you, Yahuwah, our Lord in the universe, who brings forth the bread from the earth. Barak are you, Yahuwah, our Lord in the universe, who brings forth the fruit from the vine. To die for this food, your bounty. Barak it to the nourishment of our bodies and our minds, sanctify it and purify it, and Hashem Yahushua, we ask it in the mighty name of your Yeshua, Yahushua HaMashiach. We thank you in that same mighty name.
So be it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. To die, everybody. If in the case that you're hungry, there be the food. Please help yourself.
Many of it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom to your watchers.
And for everybody that's watching online, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Until next time, we are out of here.